The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johns.
Good morning and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johns. Coming up on today's show, we'll visit a Marshall County man who shows that agriculture's strongest champions aren't always full-time farmers.
My direction was going to be to go to Auburn and Ag Econ. And I began to pray about it, and I realized that God was leading me to teach.
An Alabama restaurant franchise is helping special needs students grow their potential through a partnership with local school systems.
It allows students to grow the herbs that we use in the Taziki's restaurants.
Fallen leaves can be a real nuisance, but in this week's gardening segment, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants will show you how disposing of them properly can make a big difference to the plants in your garden.
Few things are more southern than muscadine wine. Up next, come along with us as we visit Macon County's Whippoorwill Vineyards, where they've perfected the winemaking process, from the vine to the bottle.
What sustains us? Food? Family? Faith. Alabama farmers live those things every day. They conserve our resources, clothe our families, and fill our tables. They cultivate jobs for our communities and values for our future. Farmers grow it all right here in Alabama.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
If country music is any indication, muscadine wine is enjoying a surge in popularity. The sweet spirit is intoned in songs by recording artists from Kanan Smith and Jason Aldean to Luke Bryan and Dolly Parton. And whether you've got a taste for fermented or fresh muscadines, you can find some of the state's best at Whippoorwill Vineyards in Macon County.
Since 2005, Tim Watkins has spent most of his September weekends atop his John Deere tractor, maneuvering a modified blueberry picker through nearly 16 acres of muscadine vines. These sweet, crisp grapes are destined to become one of the numerous award-winning wine varieties available from Whippoorwill Vineyards.
It's kind of a long process before you can actually drink it, but yes, that's good from the vine to the bottle, and that's what we're proud of here, because it does come from our vines to the bottle. So that's one thing we 100% what we grow is what we sell in the bottle.
Winemaking used to be just a hobby for the Macon County farmer and his dad, Bobby. The pair would compete every year, making wine from muscadine vines in the backyard. When Bobby bought 50 acres of land near their home place, they saw it as an opportunity to plant just a few more vines.
The idea came to me, well, we need some more vines to make wine, you know, in the summertime. So I said, we can go over and plant, you know, maybe 20, 25 vines over there on that land. You clean up a little area. So I guess what turned into 20, 25 vines turned into like 2,500.
More than just inspiring the idea for the vineyard, Bobby also came up with the business name.
They was singing up down the holler right there. They was talking about what this gonna call it, I just come up, Whippoorwill, because you could hear them everywhere. And it stuck, Whippoorwill Vineyards.
Vines grow just a stone's throw away from the facility where the muscadines are processed and bottled. Thankfully, modern crushing equipment has made the olden-time process of smushing grapes by foot obsolete. Crushed muscadines are moved to a tank to ferment, before being pumped into a press to separate the skins and seeds from the juice. Once the wine is perfect, it's ready for bottling, something the Watkins family and friends do together.
Everything we have in our vineyard, we try to support local Alabama. Our labels are made in Moody, Alabama by Guaranteed Labels, so everything we can possibly use Alabama, we try to. That supports local economy. In the same token, We want our local people to come in and support us.
Along with the vineyard and processing facility, the farm is a true agritourism destination.
First and foremost, we want people to know it's very family oriented because we built this winery because we wanted something our entire family could do together, you know, spending time together. They can come out, they can bring picnics, they can do U-Pick. We joke, people say, as long as your kids stay within the tree line, we can find them. But, you know, just a place that they can come out and feel at home, feel welcome, like they're part of our family once they come.
There's also a gift shop featuring other Alabama-made products and a tasting room where visitors are encouraged to sip samples until they find their favorite variety. And with 10 wine options ranging from dry to sweet, there's sure to be one that pleases your palate.
The product that they have, I have to share it. I feel like you've got to come see this winery. You've got to come taste their wine. You've got to come see the vineyards. It's beautiful out here. And so I'm very proud that they are just a few minutes away from us because I love bringing all of my friends and family.
We're in the rural northern tip of Macon County and, you know, kind of centrally between Montgomery and Auburn. I love the interaction of the people coming over and really the surprise that they have when they come in and they're, oh my gosh, this is like a little treasure out in the country.
You can get their wine at their location off County Road 31, which is in Notasulga.
And you can get it in ABC stores in the Montgomery area.
That's right, and most of what they sell is muscadine wine, but they're actually able to grow a couple varieties of bunch grapes, and they use those to make wine as well.
Yummy. When we return, a little time in the school garden is bringing hope to these budding green thumbs and fresh food to a menu near you.
The versatile peanut, meat of the earth, friend of the soil, tasty, nutritious, packed with protein. And Alabama peanut farmers nourish some very special things: families, communities, and Alabama's economy. Peanuts. Good for you, good for Alabama.
Home. It's where you take your time. Build the future. Make your memories. Celebrate. Come home. Alpha Insurance.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
A farmer has to live on faith. We do all we can do, but we can only control so much.
Alabama is the second largest poultry growing state in the nation, so we're trying our best to grow all the corn we can for that.
What we produce not only feeds and clothes all of the United States, but about half of what we make goes on to the world market.
We've been able to improve yields, have some things that can help us produce a better crop. I'm proud of the product we make and proud that I can say I'm an Alabama farmer.
Special needs students can face a variety of challenges, which can become daunting as they approach adulthood. Teaching some of these children skills they might need at a job, for example, is sometimes a difficult task for our state's teachers. But that may be beginning to change thanks to an exciting new interactive learning program.
The employees at Alabaster's Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe are getting ready for the lunchtime rush, chopping up the fresh herbs featured in many of their Greek-inspired dishes. These simply labeled bags of parsley, basil, and rosemary were harvested not quite a half-hour's drive from here, in a school garden, by some pretty special hands. Taziki's Hope program, herbs offering personal enrichment, grew out of a partnership between the Alabama-based restaurant chain and the Shelby County school system to help special needs students develop potentially employable skills.
Hope started long before the planting of the herbs. It became a relationship between Taziki's and Shelby County school system, and that was hiring of special needs. So once we kind of built out all of our stores, we thought we needed another avenue for the kids to work. And that was when a project was brought to my attention, and we created Hope and Herbs Offering Personal Enrichment. And what that does, it allows students to grow the herbs that we use in the Taziki's restaurants.
These students maintain several raised garden beds, as well as greenhouse-grown plants, performing many of the routine tasks to keep the plants healthy and thriving.
They grow, they weigh, they invoice, and then we take them in the store and we use them, in our rice and our signature pasta and our pasta salad. I think that's what's important, is bridging that gap of learning and then working. Because, at the end, when they graduate, the chances of employment for a lot of these students, there's not an opportunity for them.
Hope is absolutely a feel-good story, but it's also a valuable teaching tool. These students are delivering a product, and in business, quality is key.
When they bring in basil and it's brown, I'm not going to pay for it. So they're held to the same accountability level as any purveyor that I use, and they know that, and that's the key. They know if that rosemary has a little bit of brown on it, that Mr. Keith's going to say something about it.
Hope not only teaches these students the skills necessary to maintain their plants, from calculating sales and costs to the responsibility of bringing a good product to market, these children are getting a taste of what a real working environment is like.
It's their job, it is their business, because they see everything from the very beginning, from the very little seed all the way to where it goes to the restaurant. They go to the restaurant and know where that food, that they pick the herbs that are in that food that they are eating. And it just makes them, they know, it makes their self-worth, their self-esteem. It's just amazing to see them shine, says, I did that.
The association with Taziki's has clearly sparked something in these students, who occasionally take field trips to area locations to sample dishes featuring the herbs they've grown. But Hope has been just as inspirational to restaurant employees, who are seeing just how big of a difference the program can make.
They came when we did our grand opening, and we're in the picture that we did out front when we did the ribbon cutting, which is a great deal. They take pride in what they do, and we appreciate what they do for us as well, with the employees that we have and the herbs that they bring. So it's a win-win across the board for everybody, I think.
It has changed the lives of all students within the community, within the school. It's changed adults' lives too, how they knowing that the students, they have more of they smile a lot more. They know that they are a part of society and not somebody just back in a corner. And knowing that someday they may be able to have a job, maybe not full-time, but they're able to do something. They're making this world a better place.
For Simply Southern, I'm Samantha Carpenter.
If you're interested in learning how you can grow hope in your community, you'll find more information on Taziki's website, tazikiscafe.com/hope.
And while the Hope program is relatively new, the idea for Taziki's itself started over 20 years ago. When Keith and his wife vacationed in Greece, they wanted to bring a part of what they loved back here.
And now they've got over 80 franchises from West Virginia to Idaho.
It's really spread. After the break, rows of cotton and corn make for a pretty picture of a farm. But we'll see how rows of desks and pews can produce a harvest equally vital to agriculture.
1 out of 4 Alabama residents have benefited from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Last year, Master Gardener Managed Gardens donated $150,000 worth of fruits and vegetables to food banks, and over 25,000 young people developed math, science, technology, and engineering skills through 4-H. Now what we want to know is, how can we help you?
Soybean is a very versatile product. We make crayons out of it.
A lot of the combines you see rolling through the fields have a lot of plastic side panels that are made from a soy product.
The soybeans that we grow on our farm mostly goes into chicken feed.
Soybean production in Alabama employs over 10,000 people.
we grow some of the best soybeans in the world. We go the extra mile to make sure when our name is stamped on it, we know it's the best product we can produce.
Nothing brings the family together like U.S. farm-raised catfish. American catfish farmers are dedicated to producing a premium, healthy catfish with a consistently mild, sweet flavor. Because we take as much pride in our work as you do in your cooking. From our family farms to your family's table, you can be sure you're getting the highest quality fish. Because your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
It's estimated that by the end of the next century, the Earth's population will top 11 billion people. Now that's a lot of mouths to feed. So agriculture has never been a more important industry. The future will need farmers, and as Kevin Worthington tells us, the seeds for those are sown in the hearts and minds of young people.
Andrew Brock never finds himself exactly hurting for something to do. Every morning he heads off to work to a full-time career as an educator. Sundays you're likely to find him preaching at his church. But he's also a farmer, a passion that stretches back to his childhood.
I was probably 7 years old, and Dad got into cattle at that time. He told me that one of them was mine as long as I helped to take care of them. And so then the money from my calf every year went into my savings account, and I wasn't allowed to spend any of it. But when I turned 16, it helped to buy my first truck.
It stands to reason a career in farming would follow. But soon after enrolling at Auburn University, Andrew says God showed him a different path.
Out of high school, my direction was going to be to go to Auburn in Ag Econ. And I realized that the only reason why I was in Ag Econ was because I loved my high school ag class. And I began to pray about it, and I realized that God was leading me to teach.
As an agri-science teacher at Marshall Technical School, Andrew's able to share his love of farming with generations of students increasingly removed from the world of agriculture.
I'm the ag construction teacher at Marshall Technical School, and so my program focuses a lot on agricultural construction, and we talk a lot about a lot of different fields of agriculture along with that. I've got about 36 students in my program.
Andrew began the school's first FFA program, emphasizing hands-on activities and material that not only increases his students' understanding of agriculture, but helps them get ready for life after school.
I'm teaching them about agriculture, but I'm also teaching them the trade of construction, and I teach them a little bit about manufacturing along with that, and hopefully, preparing them for their future careers.
And it's pretty obvious from talking to some of his students that he's making an impression.
Mr. Brock is a passionate instructor for ag education. As a mentor and a teacher, he truly knows what he's talking about and truly cares about each and every one of his students.
My stepdad, he works on a construction crew, and I've been helping him for the past 3 years. If I went with my stepdad to help build something or a side job or something, and I didn't understand something that he was doing, I'd ask Mr. Brock about it, and he'd show me. Everything he's teaching us is helping me for my future, pretty much.
As for his own future, Andrew says he'll continue to comfortably wear many hats. You'll still find him sharing the word at his local church, and he plans to continue teaching for many years to come. But whether it's helping his father with the cattle, watching his wife visit with the horses, or seeing his young son's joy at a ride on a tractor, farming undoubtedly will remain a part of his life.
I love the farm because there's just something about being out on a place that's your own. Even though it's something that me and my father do together, I feel like this is home, and this is our homeland, and I love that. And it's very rewarding in its own way. At some point, I do know that God's going to lead me full-time into the ministry. And I feel like I'll always be involved in agriculture, no matter if I'm teaching and preaching or just preaching. But I do know that one day that full-time call is coming. I'm always going to follow God's leadership. I know in my heart that I'm always going to be involved in agriculture because I feel like it's in my blood, and I feel like I just love farms too much to not have one of my own.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
In addition to his work with FFA, Andrew is completing a term as president of the Alabama Association of Agricultural Educators, where he's working to solve a key issue facing agriculture across the country, the need for more ag teachers.
Two of Andrew's passions came together recently when he got to baptize one of his former FFA students on Father's Day, just before she shipped off to Marine boot camp.
Oh my gosh, what a special event for both of those people.
When Simply Southern continues, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants will be talking about something that's vital to the success of all types of gardens: compost.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
What we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
FFA makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education.
We're strengthening American agriculture and providing our members with the skills needed to build healthy local communities, a strong nation, and a sustainable world.
We are the next generation of agriculture.
It's our turn now.
Let's show the world what we can achieve together.
We are FFA.
For more Simply Southern, be sure to follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern will continue in a moment.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie Plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Hey folks, Sidney Phelps here with Bonnie Plants. Today I want to talk to you about starting your own compost. Now, if you've never done composting before, it's very easy to get started. First thing you want to do is find a location that is easy accessible so that you can add all the different nutrients and stuff that you want to your compost, something that you can access water very easily and gets a lot of sunlight. Now, this is something that you probably want to keep away from the back patio because you don't want any type of odors or anything like that. Plus, you're dealing with lawn clippings, leaves, and that's not something that you want right against the house. Our homeowner here today has got a great setup because they have a fenced-in backyard and they put their compost pile right on the outside and there's an alleyway that runs through. So it's easy access to be able to dump whatever they need, and it's also easy access for them to be able to work their compost pile. Now, the first things we want to talk about here is if you don't have space to have a large compost pile like this, you can easily just, like I do at my house, I have a pile of lawn clippings and leaves, and then I just flip it from one side to the other. That's all that I do. If you don't want to necessarily do it outside or you want to do it on a patio, you can check your local retailers. There are several different styles of composters, that from roller bins all the way to eco-friendly ones that your kids can get out there and just play around, and it's basically moving the organic matter around. That's putting air in there, and it's also increasing the rate of decomposition. So the thing about it is when you turn this, that's what helps break it down even more. So our homeowner here is using grass clippings, leaves, eggshells, all of those different type things that they put in there, not so much in time use. So things that you can put in here is green organic style materials. Coffee grounds, tea grounds are great. You don't want to use the bags. That's not something that you want to put in there at all. You don't want to put in long shrubs or long limbs or anything like that because it's going to take some extra time for them to break down. Citrus peels are also not a good thing to add in there. You can put meats and fish in there, but there's going to be a level of odor that comes with that, and you can also have to be worried about any type of animals or critters getting into your compost pile. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it is an option if you want to do it. Now, when it comes to this, you want to make sure that you have water, and that way that it works in very well. So our homeowner here today is using ground molasses as well as an ammonium sulfate to help break down the composting and allow it to work in. The way that they do that is they just spread it in, and our homeowner here has got a long run of piles, and you can't see the full setup, but they have different bins, and one bin on the end is open, so as they turn the compost, they can lay into the next round. So that helps it out. So when you're turning compost, it's basically as simple as just getting a pitchfork and getting in here, and you want to start the process of turning it over. Now, like I said, you're seeing a lot of leaves break down as well as grass clippings, but I'm trying to get down here and you can see the color and the transition to a darker color. And then you get into this right here, and that is what you want. It's very warm to the touch. Compost piles can get up to 100, 160 degrees, but this is what you're wanting to put down there. This is where your nutrients are coming from. This is that organic matter that you can't pay for anywhere. You can make this at home and have it right handy for your garden as you kick it off. This is full of nutrients. It's good to go. You know, a lot of folks think of compost as manure. That's not what we're dealing with here. You don't want to put any type of, pet waste into this. You want to make sure that you keep it as organic as you can with grass clippings as well as like the leaves. That's the most common form of composting. But to find out more information about that, go to bonnieplants.com or check out the app Homegrown with Bonnie Plants.
If you have a gardening question, drop Sidney an email at simplysouthern@alafarm.com and he may answer it on an upcoming show. And on the internet, bonnieplants.com is your source for gardening tips, recipes, and much more.
That'll put the wraps on Simply Southern for this week. Thanks for watching. Next week, we'll visit a museum that pays tribute to the men and women who put on our country's uniform, from the Revolutionary War to present day.
And we'll see how Winston County students discovered more about the history of their county at an old wooden jail. But before we go, here are links to some of the stories we featured today. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.